So the next step that we want to do here with our user form is we want to start changing some of the properties of the form and the controls that we placed on that form. Specifically, we want to change the names of the controls. We got some default names, but it's important that once you get into the coding side of a form that you know the names of the controls that you placed out there, because you're going to be referencing those controls. You're going to be talking to them through your code. So let's get into some of the properties here. First, if I click once, just once on my form, someplace in that dotted area background, I've got my properties panel open here. And if that's not open for some reason, if it's gone, it's like, where did it go? You can go up to View, and you can open up your properties window. Let's get that up. So user form 1, I've got that selected. And you can see the name there. I'm going to change it. Let's call it FRM. It's a form. I'm just going to use a 3-letter abbreviation here. And I'm going to call it Final Report. So it's going to be FRM Final Report will be the name of our form. Now this up here didn't change to reflect the name because that's a different property. That's the one called caption. So here I'm just going to call it Final Report. And that's what the users will see when they look at my form. So we got the name, FRM Final Report, and we got the caption as Final Report. It's very important inside the names, don't put spaces. Just forget about spaces. I do camel casing where every letter of every first letter of each word is uppercase. Everything else is lowercase. So let's do the rest of the controls. I'm going to grab my label. I'll change that to LBL select sheet, and then the caption we'll say please select a worksheet. Alright, and that'll become the text that the users will see there, and you can resize that and move it around, do what you like with it. The combo box, I'll select the combo box. Let's rename that CBO which sheet. CBO which sheet, that's the name of the combo box. The buttons, let's go ahead and change the buttons. We'll call this first one CMD add sheet. That's the name. Then let's change the caption. We'll just call it add sheet. There, we got it. And then my next button here, we'll rename that one. We'll call it CMD run report. And then we'll relabel it as well. We'll just call it run report. All right. So I've got all my controls named. I've got them labeled if appropriate. Got my final report, my label there. Got my buttons labeled and named. Got my combo box. Make sure you name them. If you name them something different than what I named them, later on when you get in your code, just remember what you called your controls. Okay, because we're going to be speaking to these controls to our VBA code. So this is step 2. You got the form created, you got the controls on there. Now start changing the properties of those controls. The next step, we'll start writing some of the code. But first, make sure you name them all. Get that nailed down. It's going to make life so much easier once you start writing the code if you got properly named and labeled controls. So nail that down, then we'll move on.